Hello everyone, my name is Cade and today we will be exploring the use of mods in gaming and whether they make a positive or a negative impact. I wish to achieve a conclusion on this subject by the end of the video. Now when you guys hear the word mod, you may be thinking about all of the great modern mods like the Calamity mod for Terraria or RLcraft for Minecraft. But no, the world of modding was born in the early 80s.
Shopping is a pleasure when the surroundings are spacious.
What a great time the 80s was. Smallpox was eradicated, commercial whale hunting was banned worldwide. Do you want to know the best thing about the 80s though? Castle Smurfenstein. This all started with a game called Castle Wolfenstein that released in 1981. High school kids weren't threatened enough by Nazis. Do you know what they were scared of though? Smurfs. Silas Warner released the mod Castle Smurfenstein, and all he used to make it was a paint program, a sector editor, and Muse Software's The Voice to add in the new audio. Muse Software is the video game developer that created Castle Wolfenstein. Let's fast forward to the year of 2000. In this exploration of mods, I will be talking about Counter-Strike and its positive impact as a mod. Counter-Strike is a mod of the game Half-Life, made in 1998. Some people like to mess around in the map editor, and it was from that this mod came to be. Okay, so what do you like about CSGO?
So, I like the competitiveness. I like the really big learning curve that comes with it. It's really hard for newcomers to actually get into it, which is the hardest part of it all, is getting into the game, because there's such a huge learning curve, and the moment you step into that game, you're gonna wonder why you're getting just destroyed in every single lobby possible that you go into, and that's what will turn most people off from the game. But after you get past that, it starts to become really enjoyable.
The programming for the game took roughly a month and a half. After this time, they achieved a beta of the game. Originally, the community around Counter-Strike was quite small. This changed in 1999 when it gained more players than Half-Life itself. The designers of the Counter-Strike mod were Min Lee and Jess Cliff. The mod was acquired by Valve in 2000. The best thing about this is that Valve actually hired everyone involved in Counter-Strike's creation. How nice of them. How did you discover Counter-Strike?
Roughly 2016, I was, before I had any kind of good computer, I was on a pink laptop my mother owned, and my friends, two of them owned CSGO on Steam, and they played it every now and again. I wondered what the hype's about, so a year later for Christmas, bought it myself. Mind you, it was running at about 10-15 frames a second, and I was going up against bots. No idea what was going on, didn't enjoy the hype. Good few years passed, probably 2020, back in lockdown, and I began to play it because got nothing better to do, and started figuring it out and started being enjoyable playing with friends.
Then, in 2001, the Counter-Strike Major came along, the Cyber Athlete Professional League Winter Championship. The winners were Ninjas in Pajamas, otherwise known as NIP. Ever since then, there have been 34 Counter-Strike major tournaments between 2001 and 2012, with prize pools between $50,000 and $1 million. The impact this mod had on the esports industry was absolutely enormous. Are there any mechanics in Counter-Strike that are from Half-Life that have been evolved and used today in the modern game?
Well, we've got bee-hopping, which kind of evolved. Bee-hopping was a really big thing back when Half-Life was released, and it's used in stuff like speedrunning, trying to beat the game as quick as you can. And this was brought into Counter-Strike. However, it was a bit, at the state it was a bit broken, because players could just speed through the map at stupid speeds. So they kept the foundation of bunny hopping, but they made it have a huge learning curve, and even if you could complete it, it would give you very minute increase in speed, so there wasn't really an advantage to actually knowing it anymore. It was because it was still in the game, but it was, if you get what I mean, it's good.
Okay, let's switch it up and look at the other side of this. Most have had great experiences with GTA 5 online modded. However, lots of people have had some not so good experiences with modded. People who are trying to play the game properly and do missions get tripped up and killed by in-game modders. You can choose to have unfair advantages, such as infinite ammo, invincibility, and that's just scratching the surface. Some people have found ways to combat these modders by pointing out how to spot them. Here's a good post from Quora. As George J. Record IV says, super high level characters are mostly modders. GTA 5 online communities have created mods that have grown to be very popular. One big community being 5M. This mod was created in 2015. It involved a multiplayer role-playing server that amassed a concurrent player count of 250,000 on Steam in April 2021. This actually surpassed Rockstar's GTA 5 online servers. Let's delve deeper into the world of modding. One way that you can mod is asset override. Asset override, in a really quick explanation, is basically when you take a game's asset folder, such as textures, you then add a file into this folder so that when you launch the game on your computer, it uses those newly created files instead of the game's default ones. This allows you to create different textures for the game's buildings, people, and many other things. Let's fast forward to the bright and advanced year of 2024. This year might not have been great so far, but I'm sure we have good things to look forward to. Nowadays, computers are way faster and leaps and bounds more powerful than they used to be. Not only that, but our video game developers know exactly what us consumers want. Modding requires a powerful processor in your computer, as it involves many processes. A newer CPU can process tasks way quicker than an old one. This has made a massive difference in modding, as a powerful computer can modify the latest and greatest games, whereas an old CPU would lack the power to do so. Next up is my honourable mentions. This section of the video is for all you Minecraft, Terraria and Skyrim fans shouting at the screen, "Why are you not talking about the Enderall mod or Calamity mod?" I hear you. So here we will mention some popular mods that are famous for making positive impacts on games. First up, you have the Calamity mod for Terraria that adds 27 new bosses and 1,880 plus new items for players to use and collect. So get that wiki up on the second monitor. There are also extensions to the difficulty settings added in to give the player that extra challenge. Second, in our honourable mentions, you have the Enderall mod for Skyrim that converts the game into a completely different world with its own lore and its own story. The mod completely overhauls the skill systems and the gameplay mechanics. It features a dark, psychological storyline with believable characters. As our last mention, we have a Minecraft mod pack called RLCraft. This bundle of 185 mods has been tweaked, changed, and forged to create a challenging Minecraft fantasy world. While exploring and living in the world, you will encounter dragons, castles, and dungeons. Most of the vanilla mechanics in Minecraft have been extensively modified to create a completely brand new experience. An example of this is that they added seasons to the game, so that in the winter you get more cold and in the summer you get more hot. This forces a challenge onto the player because they now have to be aware of their body temperature in the game. So, here we are, the conclusion of the video. Let's start with the positives. Modding can create a brand new experience for a game that gets more boring with age. A game that I can say as an example is the Terraria Calamity mod. Another positive is that modding a game has the potential to evolve the game to the point where it becomes its own separate piece of entertainment. Of course, the biggest example of this is probably Counter-Strike. On the other hand of this, you've got mods that can ruin the game. My main example of this is of course GTA 5 Online, but it really does depend on what type of person the modder is. These modders can either teleport into your car, and blow it up, or they can run around, killing NPCs, doing stupid things to themselves and to the map, without affecting or harming any other players. Overall, with GTA 5 Online, I think all modders should be banned, and mods are a bad thing. To conclude the video, I believe that modding is a choice more than anything. You can decide to have them to improve your gameplay, or you can stick with the vanilla experience. It's completely up to you. And that's the beautiful thing about modding in games, you can play the game exactly your way. My only exception to this is when you mod in online games where you have an unfair advantage over other players. And that wraps it up. I hope you guys now have a better understanding of how important modding is to the gaming community and the esports community. And thanks for watching.